Hello again. Hey, welcome back to what we're going to call this channel from now on is Dooney Secrets, because that's really what they are. I've been teaching these secrets for a long time to many people, and I've been coaching them how to build their own entertainment business for probably over 20 years. So really that's what these videos are all about, right? I want to start coaching you as an entertainer because there isn't a lot of coaching available. So before we get too far into that, I'm just going to share with you a reading out of my book. All right. This book is called The Timing of Chicken Feathers by me. And it says, Priceless Tales from 35 Years as a Purveyor of Joy. Isn't that what we're doing, right? Aren't we handing out joy every single day? So I have a chapter entitled Hey Balloon Man. And I thought I'd share that with you just because, you know, we're in a crazy business and we don't have a lot of things to share with each other. I mean, we don't have a lot of people to share stuff with. And that's why I feel like there's a need for business coaching in this business. And I've done it with many people and have helped them set up successful businesses in many cities across the country. So anyway, I'm just going to read a chapter. Hopefully you enjoy it. I enjoy it. If you want to buy the book, obviously there's a link to it in the description. It's called The Timing of Chicken Feathers. And, you know, let me tell you how I got started with this, because I think it's really the truth. When I was teaching classes, I used to train about 30 people a year. And every time when I would teach a class, I would tell a particular story about an event that happened for me when I was working as Ronald McDonald up in Fairbanks, Alaska. I always called it the elephant story because it does include an elephant, and it's literally the funniest moment of my career, okay? The funniest, funnest, craziest moment of my career. And so I would tell that story. I love telling that story. So then I thought, you know, I'm going to write this down, and I did. And then I thought, you know, I've got a lot of other stories, so I started writing them down. And it took a long time. You know, this actually is about 20 years in the making. It was my thesis for my master's degree, as it turns out. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It talks about providing joy. It talks about the joys and sorrows of being in the entertainment business. And it really, I think, is pretty informative. But anyway, enough about that. That's how this got started. So part of my story is that I'm a balloon man, right? So this is a chapter entitled Hey Balloon Man. And there's the picture. All right, here we go. The balloon drought of 1987-1988 almost killed us. At that time, we were providing balloon entertainers 7 nights a week at 14 different restaurants as far east as Virginia Beach and as far north as Lake Tahoe. I live in San Diego. That's a lot for a balloon guy, right? I was impressed. Our entertainers were using about 15,000 balloons every week, sometimes more. Then all of a sudden, our regular shipments of balloons began to come slower and slower. At that time, the only company that made these long, skinny animal balloons, they're called 260Es, was Ashland Rubber Products of Ashland, Ohio. We had a monthly orders delivered to our house, and then we would resell them to our entertainers. Not that we made too much money, but we just wanted to make sure that they had balloons. All right. Then all of a sudden, the shipments stopped coming regularly, and we got worried. I called the factory and I told them that asked them what was going on. Sorry about that. And they told me that they had an order for 1 million bags of balloons from Japan, and that they would be catching up for shipments as soon as possible. Let's just pause a minute and think about that. This is 1987. Somebody in Japan ordered 1 million bags of balloons. Now, these were not the balloons of today where they have 100 balloons in them. These were bags that had a gross 144 balloons each. 1 million bags of balloons. That's why when you check the internet, there's so much good balloon stuff in Japan, because, man, they went crazy over this. Anyway, they sent me another order of balloons, and that's when it happened. The AIDS epidemic hit America in full force, and suddenly it was hard to buy balloon animals anywhere. Ashland Rubber Products readjusted their priorities and started producing massive amounts of condoms and rubber gloves. And basically, they stopped making animal balloons. Now, the AIDS epidemic was serious. It was scary. That's exactly what they needed to do. But they were about to kill me because I needed them. I needed these balloons 7 nights a week. Whew. Anyway, we did find some really weird balloons that were made out of Brazil and were saved for a few months. Now, let me tell you about these. They were longer and they were a little oily, so they didn't hold the twists as well. But we used them. I mean, we had to. We didn't have anything else. Anyway, eventually their factory burned down, and thus that was the end of that solution. Finally, a competing company called Qualitex started making animal balloons, called them 260Qs. They actually followed through with making a good product and shipping out the orders. So in a few short years, there was again only one company for making animal balloons in America, and that company became Qualitex. I guess that's the American way, and thank God, because they saved our lives. For 15 years, I worked 5 nights a week personally, sometimes more, in restaurants making balloons and entertaining customers from table to table. This was a beautiful process which combined entertainment services, commercialism. There's a lot more to the balloon business than just making poodles. Our service provided the customers with a unique, fun experience. We got them talking about the establishment in a positive way, which is word-of-mouth advertising, and that makes or breaks a restaurant. It gave them something to carry out of the restaurant, which again spurred more word-of-mouth conversation. And it created an atmosphere that was a great place to celebrate. If you can accomplish these 4 goals, you are doing all right. And that's what I did. I started my first clown business in Seattle. I knew nothing about restaurant business or balloons. However, after a few years and a few new starts in a few new cities, winding up back here in San Diego, I learned how to work the job. We basically helped to create a new industry in America and worldwide. There had been magicians working table to table in bars and restaurants for years, but the balloons added a different kind of punch, because they play so big and they add fun and color to the tables, and people can take them home with them as well. Balloons added a whole new level of fun factor to the process. Also, balloon entertainment was kind of a novelty back then. Fun factor, that's what we do. Remember that, fun factor. Anyway, also, there's something about making 1,000 or 1,200 or 1,500 balloons a week. When you make that many balloons a week for so many years, you get a great deal of practice. In other words, I got pretty good at it. I'm one of the best balloon makers in the world, period. I find that it's easy, just as easy to work with adults as it had been with children, because I can do some amazing things with balloons, and adults are simply big kids anyway, right? Plus, balloons are just plain fun. They do most of the work for you. In my business, this is a huge point to remember. Find what works automatically to create fun and bring that tool with you wherever you go. Okay, that's a piece of business advice from me to you. Anything that's fun for you can be fun for them also. Bring it with you. Anyway, eventually, in addition to becoming a pretty damn good balloon sculptor, I also got a different kind of practice as well. I got the chance to work with every kind of audience possible. I worked with many groups of women, men, priests, accountants, gang members, hookers. At least I think they were professionals. Also, restaurant and clientele includes guests that are celebrating every kind of event. So I also got a great chance to work in all different kinds of celebrations, right? And sometimes not celebrations. When I began teaching this art, I created the goal of raising the fun level of any group that we came into contact with. You can raise every group. You can't raise every group to the point of hilarious laughter, but if you can raise the enjoyment level just a bit, then you've done your job. Finally, I began to train other staff at restaurants, and that's where I learned a lot about managing people. I learned how to verbalize what I had done to become successful. At one point, I was training about 25 new people a year and make balloons professionally. I also wrote 4 books on how to make balloons, did a video on how to do balloons, and a book on how to do entertainment in the restaurant setting with balloons. There's nothing more valuable than working. And that's what I did. I put people to work. I'm just going to wrap it up with this. I don't know how I would have made it without these skinny, silly animal balloons. I did an accounting in 2010, and I estimated that I had made at least 1.4 million balloons in my life to the career at that point. Now that was 13 years ago. I'm probably up to 1.6 million now, something like that. However, I'm not a full-time balloon maker anymore, not 5 days a week. However, I do still make plenty of balloons, and yes, of course, I make balloon dogs, but what I really make is amazing balloon toys and loads of fun. So I was going to read this next paragraph, but it just goes over some of the balloon games that I have on the balloon game videos, because that's what I do now, right? I use these balloons to play games. Speaking of that, I'm not going to stop doing balloon videos. My next balloon video is going to be about a great magic trick with balloons. So don't worry, still more balloon videos to come, but I am going to expand it out into some other skills and other business ideas for entertainers just like this. All right. The 260Q animal balloons that I use every day are probably the most versatile tool available to man, with the exception of duct tape. There is nothing that packs so small yet plays as big as animal balloons, especially when fun is the goal. So have fun with this, right? Work at it. Get out there and make balloons for people, right? I'm going to introduce 2 new videos after this video where I'm going to talk about taking your balloon business to the next level, okay? Because no matter how much money you're making now, you can almost double your money by just doing this one thing. And that'll be the next video. And then also, I want to introduce my coaching business, right? So I have a business where people pay me to consult with them to help make their business better. It's not like coaching classes, right? What I'm offering is one-on-one. I'll work with you, I'll quiz you about your business, I'll quiz you about your goals, I'll find out what you want, and I will give you my best ideas on how to make a go at it, right? And make a better go at it, more money, right? So if you look at some of my credits on my coaching site, which by the way is linked in the description, you'll see that I've worked for Netflix, I've worked for McDonald's, I worked for Coca-Cola, I worked for Chevy. You know, I've worked for some heavy hitters, right? But I'm not a huge business, right? I am a huge business in this industry, but I don't have a office space. I don't have a secretary. What I've got is I've got a computer and a cell phone, right? Now, so you can do it too, right? I booked Netflix at Comic-Con for 4 days, right? We painted, we did face painting for 9,000 people in 4 days, sitting at this desk in this chair, right? And so that's my goal. My goal is to help you do it, right? Take it from a part-time extra money to part-time more extra money to possibly a full-time money, right? Because if that's what you want, that's what I'm here to help you with. So check out my coaching site, check out my future videos, and again, don't miss that next video, which is all about how to take your balloon business and double it. All right, have a great day.